Hello, my name is Barbara and I am a behavior tech. Today we're going to talk about preferred assessment. The preferred assessment is a tool inside ABA and is very important to help us to ensure that the client will engage in the behavior addressed by the intervention. The preferred assessment is a type of functional assessment and is used for the supervisors and also for some RBTs during the session to try to understand what the client can work for. As the others functional assessments that the supervisor does with the client, the preferred assessment also is important so the supervisor can create plans, can create the programs, individualized plans, and usually the supervisor use the observation plus a functional assessment to work with the client and to identify these important goals that the client needs to work for. Assessment is going to act as a motivation. What is motivating the client to do the work today? We're going to discuss about 3 types of preferred assessment. So the first one is going to be the paired stimulus preferred assessment. It gives us a rank, an order of the reinforcers through a comparison. So we're going to compare reinforcers. And like that, we're going to understand what the client will work for. So I have an example. So I have with me a rule, I have a panda, and I have an astronaut, right? Let's pretend this is the 3 most reinforcers for me. And then I need to compare those 3 reinforcers and see what is the order, what is the most reinforcer for me. So what I will do is I will set the table and I'm gonna put the astronaut and the panda on a table and I'm gonna ask my learner, and then I'm gonna ask my learner, pick one. He's gonna pick one. Let's pretend he's gonna pick the astronaut. So I'm gonna go to my book and I'm gonna write astronaut versus panda. And then I'm gonna circle the astronaut because it was the one that he selected, right? So we did the first comparison. Then we're gonna get the ruler and we're gonna do pick one. Let's pretend my client picked the astronaut again. So we're gonna be astronaut versus ruler, and then he's gonna pick the astronaut again. So we're gonna circle another one that he get. And then we're gonna compare rule and panda. What do you want? And then the client can say panda. All right. So he picked the panda instead of the rule. So we're gonna circle panda. So right now we compare everything to each other and now we need to just give the order. So he picked the astronaut 2 times and the panda once. So for sure the astronaut is gonna be the most reinforcer. So this one is gonna be the main one if you need to use a reinforcer with the client. This is gonna be the one that you're gonna use. The panda is gonna be the second reinforcer in case something happened. And you can use the rule too, but is it as a third reinforcer because you know that he likes the rule, but right now between these 3, he prefers these 2 other ones. So the second is gonna be the multiple stimulus preferred assessment with replacement. So we're gonna work with a few reinforcers. I'm gonna use the same reinforcers, but this time we're gonna make a line. We're gonna put all together and ask the supervisor, the learner to pick one. This one is with replacement, so he's gonna pick one and then we're gonna return to the line so he can pick it up again if he wants. And this type of preferred assessment is very interesting to work with clients who have problem behaviors. So we're gonna record how many times the client picked each item. Okay, so I will give you guys the example right now. So for example, we have here, we write down how many times you want to do it. Let's pretend I would do 4 times, right? So I'm going to write the name of everything that I have on my hands 4 times. And then I'm going to put everything on the table and say, pick one. Let's pretend my client picked the astronaut. You're going to say, good job picking up the astronaut. Okay, we put it back. And then say, and then we're going to circle the astronaut and ask it again. Pick one. This time he picks up the panda. Okay, we circle the panda. Nice job, put it back. How about now? What do you want? Astronaut. Okay, he picked the astronaut. So we're gonna circle the astronaut. All right, pick again. He's gonna pick the panda. All right, he did pick the panda. So now we have 2 astronauts, 2 pandas. We can do one more time to make sure. And then you say pick it again. And then let's pretend he picked up the panda, the astronaut. All right, we're gonna circle astronaut. And like that, we will have this type of data. We're gonna have all the 5 trials that I did with him. And then we're gonna have an order too. So he picked the astronaut 2 times, 3 times, and the panda 2 times. So we're gonna add an order. The rank is gonna be the client pick first the astronaut and then the panda as a reinforcement. And the last one is gonna be the multiple stimulus preferred assessment without replacement. So after the learn pick, in this case, after the learn pick 1, we're gonna remove the item and leave him just with 2. And then as soon as he pick up the other one, we just remove it until he gets nothing. And then we are going to write down as a data the order again that he picks. So let's pretend we have the 3 again. We're gonna say, pick 1. Then he's gonna pick the astronaut. All right, we remove the astronaut. Now we say, pick 1. And then he's gonna choose panda. All right, and then we have the rule. So the client will say, we're gonna say that first, the preferred item is gonna be astronaut, and the second preferred item is gonna be panda. That's how we're gonna take the data from this preferred assessment. So the difference between the multiple stimulus and the paired stimulus is that the paired stimulus do comparison between the items, and the multiple stimulus, no. Okay, I hope you guys understood how to do the preferred assessment. Thank you for watching.